Hello, friends, and welcome to the 7th episode of Dulcius X Asperus. For anyone who's new to this channel, I'll go over some good news, some not so good news, and then give you some ideas for good deeds this week. Because I could use some good news to pull me through. Today, we'll cover some good news out of Costco, the salute heard round the world, and summarize the blizzard of executive actions from the new administration. If you're watching and feel like sharing, I'd love to know what you found useful or not useful so far on this channel. In this week's good news, Costco voted to keep its diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, even though several other companies have rolled back or eliminated theirs. Why is this good news? Because it's a rare pragmatic take among the business world this week. Did I say pragmatic? I did. DEI has been villainized by conservatives because it's an easy soundbite. It's easy to scare someone by telling them wokeness will take their jobs. But hiring across different communities makes sense for retailers. Giant retailers like Costco sell to everyone, which means they market to everyone, which means they need to hear the perspectives of people in those communities in order to feed their bottom line. And this broader lesson doesn't just apply to retailers. Businesses didn't develop DEI programs because previous administrations told them to. Businesses developed these programs because they helped make money. DEI programs done well help companies compete better. There's no conspiracy or boogeyman here, just pragmatic reasons to do the right thing. I know the best teams I've worked on had a range of experiences and backgrounds. I'm sure there are people who would write me off as a diversity hire, but I've never been hired for a job I wasn't qualified to do. I have, however, lost opportunities because someone assumed I couldn't do the job as a woman. At President Trump's inauguration a week ago, Elon Musk made a hand gesture that looked a lot like a Nazi salute. Musk responded by downplaying the salute and claiming people were being too sensitive. Surprising no one, Musk couldn't be bothered to make an apology. Whatever his intentions, the message was received by white nationalists as a gesture of support. He then doubled down on the controversy by posting fake images of Taylor Swift. And circling back to those intentions, Musk thinks we should be over the Holocaust by now. Person does dumb thing on the internet isn't really a headline. Powerful person does dumb thing on the internet is also, unfortunately, not a headline. But it's worth looking more closely at Musk's language here because he's saying the quiet part loud. Taken on its own, out of the context of the rally, this quote is mostly true. The child of a concentration camp guard does not inherit the guilt of their parent. Let's look at another similar example from a Reddit thread on slavery. Again, this quote taken in isolation is mostly true. The children of slave owners are not responsible for their parents' actions. But in both cases, the speaker isn't just talking about guilt. They're talking about how we, in the present, should handle grave injustice in the past. Anti-Semitism didn't end after the Holocaust ended. Racism didn't disappear when slavery was outlawed or even when the Jim Crow era ended. Sexism didn't disappear when women got the right to vote. We can all take some advice from, and I can't believe I'm saying this, Johnny Bleepface on that same Reddit thread. Guilt or no, we should move forward taking a lesson from history and keeping our eyes and minds open to the intolerance, cruelty, and ignorance that those parts of history bred into our culture. Forget about guilt. Just honor the memory of those who suffered by lessening the suffering of others today. In other news this week, there were some executive orders. So many executive orders. And other stuff. Let me sum up the week for you. Trump once again stoked immigration fears by challenging birthright citizenship and declaring a national emergency at the border. Then he tried to erase the existence of transgender people by only recognizing two sexes, and made life in prison more dangerous for them. When Bishop Budd now a household name, made a heartfelt plea to consider how vulnerable populations would be hurt by these policy changes, 45 resorted to name-calling. He also continued trying to dismantle any institutions that might hold him or government agencies accountable by firing a large number of inspector generals, revoking security clearances for people he disagreed with. Oh, and he pulled Dr. Fauci's security detail, after he spent the last several years leading a smear campaign against Dr. Fauci, which no doubt contributed to some of the death threats Fauci has received. With all this going on, how can anyone find steady ground? Here's the next bit of good advice from their site. Pick a night or a couple days and take a break from social media and do something in your community. Attend a community theater production, take a long walk outside, go through your winter closet and donate some warm clothes. Do something that puts you in contact with another human being instead of interacting through pithy sound bites and emojis. Here are some actions you can take this week if you'd like to help. Voting isn't just for presidential election years. Congressional elections happen every 2 years, and there are local officials being elected most every year. These local officials are actually more influential in your day-to-day life than the national ones. There are sometimes even special elections for when officials resign or are, say, promoted to a cabinet position in the new administration. These special elections are another opportunity for you to have your say. And if you'd like to start having more political discussions with people you disagree with, I recommend looking up Braver Angels. Groupthink is always dangerous, whether you're liberal or conservative. The more of these discussions we can have in a civil way, the better off we'll be. Until next time, take care of each other.